Good afternoon, and welcome to the second half hour of High Noon in Lake Worth. I'm Wes Blackman, your host, and we have Chaz Stevens on the line. Chaz, are you there?
Welcome to the party line, Wes. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm fine. How are you? This is Friday, headed towards the weekend. I know you've been busy. You're on the air the second time here, so pleasure to have you again.
I must not have scared too many people away with my rants and raves before, so thanks for having me back.
Okay. Well, what have you been up to? And sell your website for our listeners, too, so they can check that out during the show.
Yeah, not a problem. Can we start off like we started off before, which was setting the ground rules, which is it's okay if I have a potty mouth and click away if you're offended by, adult language?
Yeah, let's make that clear. We just... there's quite a contrast here. The first hour, we had a historian from the FEC Railroad, Seth Branson, and so now we're segueing into uncharted territory with Chaz Stevens here. And so if you're offended by offensive language, if you consider some words offensive, then you might be offended by this hour of the show. If not, stay with us, and even if you are, listen anyway, because I'm sure you'll find something interesting. So anyway, there's the caveat, and we can go on now.
Very beautiful, beautiful.
Okay.
I'm always a gentleman, my friend. So, Raton, where do I start? There's this little fat fuck by the name of Mark Buckingham, and he's the HR director. So it just, in a heartbeat, there goes the Photoshop, and Mark Buckingham now turns into Mark Buckingham, and I hit the task. But you laugh now, but wait till I tell you the stories, and you will cringe. You will literally cringe.
I can't wait to hear them.
How the hell are we paying this guy six figures? And we being the taxpayers of Boca Raton, right? Probably, he's probably, I don't know what he's paying, I don't know what his salary is, $200,000 plus, How the hell are we paying this guy? How? Here's the story. In the news, summertime, August, I think, you might have caught it. It was in the New Times. I'm sure it was all over the press up in Palm Beach. Do you remember this skeevy little fucker by the name of Doug Hughes? He was in the bathroom taking pictures of women and children. Do you remember that?
Yes, I seem to remember that news story, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they caught this guy. He's in there with his Polaroid, snapping upskirt pictures of women and children, right? 26-year-old guy, everything else. Well, he was a employee of the city of Boca Raton. He works in the recreation services. The guys that take care of the lawn maintenance and keep Boca looking pretty, right? So when they took pictures of this, the mainstream media, and I like Bennett over at the Palm Beach Post, they never and those guys over there, they never dove down into, they never got the backstory. Well, I got the backstory. Here's backstory number one about Mark Buckingham. So this guy Hughes, he's actually friends with Buckingham's little kid, which I call Little Buckingham. So they have this familial link. Hughes, the pervert Hughes, I'll make sure I get my story. I'm not looking at my notes, but he came on board. He worked as a park ranger somewhere. He got into some form of scrum, I believe, with some citizens. And he was a part-time park ranger, which is you're riding around on a golf cart watching football and baseball, right? Not necessarily NASA level graduate work. But apparently somewhere in that really relaxing job, he got pissed off. So he gets in a scrum, it gets written up, goes to HR. What does HR do? HR being Mark Buckingham. He gets promoted.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, to full time. So get into a fight, you get promoted full time, and now you're going to be able to, after you get, eventually get benefits, right? So get into a fight and get dental, I guess, is the Mark.
So this was before he was found out taking pictures.
No, wait a second. No. This is before. Yeah. This is before, right?
Yeah.
So another park, and he gets into an altercation with his boss at park number 2, and the reason is the boss said, "What the hell are you doing in the bathroom so long?"
Okay.
Yeah, right. And we know exactly what he's doing. He's taking out his iPhone and snap, right? So this little pervert this little pervert gets into shoving matches. I guess, as it explained to me, pushes his boss. And in the city of Boca Raton, and rightly so, if you get into a shoving match, don't push back, call the police. So the police come and write up an incident report. With me? So what does Buckingham, what does Mark do? Transfers him to another place.
Really?
Yeah. So two incidences. The guy spends 2 hours in the shitter doing whatever he's creepy doing. I don't know if it was 2 hours per se, making a joke there, but then he gets transferred. So now he's at park number 3, and he was at park number 3 till he got caught by the police for doing it. And you realize that he got caught, he got arrested, he got bonded out, and then he got caught back in a park.
Yeah.
So he violated probation.
Wow. Okay. So HR should definitely be stepping in at this point and doing some kind of progressive discipline or firing the guy.
I'm sorry. I don't know what fucking world these people in Boca Raton are, but in the real world, the world that I work for, and the world that I work for included IBM, Microsoft, Bell South, Coca-Cola, major corporations. If I go and I push my boss, you know what happens to me? I am fucking fired. See you later. Have a good day.
And maybe even arrested, too.
Yeah. Well, he got an incident report, but nothing ever happened. And the guy's in the back. So here's the deal with Mark Buckingham. If you're a pervert, good job. Welcome to Boca Raton. You got a beautiful career path. Okay? So wait a second. No, you're laughing. Now let's get sick about Buckingham. Okay. There's this dude that you probably just read about in the papers. His name is Donnell Allison. Do you remember that?
Okay. No, it doesn't ring a bell.
Probably weeks ago. Here's the deal about Donnell. Hothead kid. I think in his mid-20s, late 20s, I think, maybe early 30s. Black fella. Looks like a thug. And he's in charge. He was a supervisor on a crew. And as it was explained to me, in Boca, when they're running behind, the weeds need to be picked, they got their menial kind of task thing, they hire day laborers, right? So they hire guys that are, but truly one step of, at the bottom rung of the employment hiring in society, right? So they hired this 50-year-old fellow, I think he's from Boca or Delray, to come and help them do the bullshit task for the day. In charge of the work crew was Donnell Allison, right? Okay. As it was explained to me, Allison gets pissed off at this 50-year-old fellow because he moved his lunch. What does Allison do? Takes his steel-toed work boot, puts it to the head of this fellow, knocks the shit out of this fellow, blood all over the place. The fella is then trauma-hawked to Delray, and he has the all-expense vacation/coma in ICU.
Wow.
Wait a second. So you would think, and Allison ends up in jail, right? So you would think, well, that's kind of fucked up. But here's the deal. When it comes to Mark Buckingham, he puts the fucked in fucked up. Let me tell you about the story about this guy. Donnell had been arrested previously 6 times. And I think that he was arrested for assault on a pregnant woman or some crazy, I could be wrong there, but some crazy shit a couple years ago. Yeah, well, a thug. So Allison joined in 2008. He's working in a park. He gets in an altercation. They transfer him. Yeah, we've heard this story before, right? He's at park number 2, Hatch Reef. He scares to live and shit out of the women working there that the one woman would lock her door when he was around. She would close and lock her office door.
And this is a municipal employee at this point.
This is a municipal employee. And what happens now?
Wow.
What happens now to this guy? Does he get fired? Does he get no? A big hug it out. Come here, here's some Mrs. Fields cookies. A big hug it out, maybe a circle jerk, maybe a happy ending. Smoke some dope. I don't know what the fuck they're doing over there. It's not it's crazy. And he gets a promotion. Excuse me, a transfer, not a promotion, a transfer. He gets a transfer and a last chance notice. Don't do it again, or we're really going to be upset at you. And so he was at his last chance promotion, and then he got into this scrum where he puts a boot to a guy's head, right? Knocks the living. Imagine you get a steel-toed boot to your head. That's got to leave a fucking mark.
No, that's not good.
No, so that's the city of Boca Raton. So when I found this story out, I'm thinking, how come nobody's talking about this? How come nobody? And the problem is, as you and I have talked about in the past, and as you probably talk about every day, there's too many stories, and there's just not enough newspaper.
Right.
So there's this we'll turn our attention to Deerfield Beach. Somehow hoping maybe one or two people from Deerfield are listening. There's this another little fat fuck, right? His name is John Grassi. He's 50-something years old, 51, 52 years old. He had in his 2007-6 bankruptcy, he said he had a net worth of $550. He had charged off $750,000 worth of liabilities because he's a import-export guru. He's not a property owner. He has the intellectual capacity of aluminum foil, which might be helpful if you wrap it around his head like a tinfoil fucking hat. And he is in his mind, the ruling political, intellectual elite here in Deerfield Beach. Now, let me just paint you the picture of John Grassi. If you saw him on Jeopardy with two squirrels, the only question you have would be, I wonder which one of those squirrels is going to win. That would be your thing. Guy's a fucking idiot. But yet he has the ear of our mayor. Our mayor is 81 years old. Her name is Jean Robb. She absolutely loathes me. About a year ago, I took a press release out announcing her obituary. And my friends at the Sun Sentinel called her house, and her daughter was right there. The beat reporter said, my condolences for your mother's death. You have a quote. And the daughter said, well, Mom's right in front of me. So I've just fucked with our mayor over there. So I thought it was really funny. So Rob is our mayor, and Grassi's her henchman, if you will. He sends out all these emails, these spam emails, and I guess he doesn't understand the idea between CC and BCC. So he carbon copies the entire world when he sends this out. Maybe he's doing that on purpose, but he sends it all over the world. And he sends it to all these politicians all across Broward County, talking about inner Deerfield Beach, inside baseball in Deerfield Beach. The mayor of Fort Lauderdale, Jack Seiler, writes them back and CC's everybody saying, who the fuck are you and leave me alone? I don't care about Deerfield Beach, you know?
Okay.
So I guess probably like 5 or 6 months ago, as I understand it, some emails went out. Grassi sends out emails on like johngrassi@gmail.com or some shit like that. I guess somebody sent out some emails that went out from like johngrassi@AOL.com or something. And they basically have 1 or 2 emails, and the emails were, hi, my name is John Grassi. We won the election. You lost. You suck. Below me. Goodbye. And that was it. And so they sent them out. And apparently Grassi thought, I did it. I'm telling you, I don't know anything about those emails. So he filed a complaint with the state, with the local sheriff. And the local sheriff to investigate. And as I understand it, as my lawyer handled this for me, the detective looking into this was called every day by this little fucking nitwit. Tell me about
really?
He tried. The whole matter was investigated by the FBI to see if there was they say make a federal case out of it. Well, Grassi tried to make a federal case out of it, and the FBI said, from what I understand, there's no federal crime here. Whoever sent these emails, they weren't asking for money. They weren't doing anything else. It was political satire. But supposedly Grassi was so injured that every day he called up this detective. Got to get him. And they pulled subpoenas. As I understand it, they pulled the subpoenas to try to track it back to wherever I was at, taking it with me. And they couldn't track it back to Deerfield. So wherever these things originated, it originated somewhere else. So so that went back and forth. And as I understand it, was the case they were going to file the charges, no file the charges, and they finally decided to drop it. Because there was no probable cause. They couldn't prove anything. How do you arrest somebody if you have no evidence? So that was yet another trial trying to take down the Chaz Stevens, and it just didn't happen.